Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on the Pixar film Inside Out. Now, as you know, Inside Out is meant to be a 2015 computer animated film and was once again another entry into the Pixar family vault. So the premise of the film is meant to follow Joy, who is meant to be the main sort of leader of Riley's main emotions, which also consists of anger, the hothead, disgust, who's kind of the more diva-like girl, fear, who's a bit more of a panical stress nut, and sadness, who is kind of the box man to the group. Mainly their job is to control Riley's emotions, and the point of Riley is that she's meant to sort of go to the day-to-day life of what a kid would do. We see how Riley moves from basically her old town in Massachusetts and moves to San Francisco. And you can kind of tell Joy kind of tries to make the situation not a big problem. And we kind of see how Joy puts everything onto a high pedestal and not really letting sadness handle her fair share of the work. And I wouldn't really call Joy a complete bad guy. I think the point of her character is much like Steven Universe, much like Mr. Peanut Butter, and also much like Marinette in Miraculous Ladybug. You can tell they try to be positive, but at the same time put too much on a higher stake. And we do kind of see how after something that happens, joy and sadness end up getting separated from the other emotions, and we kind of see how joy and sadness, along with Riley's imaginary friend Bing Bong, go on a journey to head on back. And I think the film has a main premise that it's okay to be happy and sad, but it's important not to put on a fake mask and not to try and be too positive for the sake of trying to make something into a positive. It's important to be upset, it's important to be angry, but it's important not to kind of put on the sake of something positive. You can kind of tell at the same time, you can tell Riley does get easily annoyed, but you can tell when Joy's around, she does try not to make it a big deal. But when we see how the other emotions try to handle the problem without joy or sadness, they end up making the situation a lot worse. And I think over the course of the film, we do see how Joy does realise her mistakes. We do kind of see how she realises sadness also plays a key part, the same with the other emotions. And I think that I would have liked to have seen a moment where Joy would apologise to sadness for leaving her out. I think Steven Universe did this better because it actually had Pearl apologising to Amethyst for the way she acted, and you can tell did realise that, yeah, she did push her away. And I think it's like Steven Universe, where you could tell Steven did kind of put things to higher standards and didn't realise how much he was hurting himself physically. And I think it's kind of like looking at Hank Pym in Marvel, in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where he thought he could help the villains, but put it to impossible standards. And I think at the same time, I like the idea that there's a sort of other island-like areas. There's a place where they sort of get rid of old memories. And I like how, yeah, some of the other members in Riley's mind sort of have other jobs, like doing dreams, sorting out memories, other areas, and so on. And I like how in each in the person's mind, there is always a different emotion taking the main centre. And I think that's a brilliant idea. And I think the point of Joy being the leader in Riley's mind is that she tries to be supportive, she tries to be understanding, but at the same time doesn't realise how much harm her actions do. And we do see her realising the mistakes and consequences of being too positive and too supportive. It's important to be sad, angry, fearful, as well as disgust, but don't try to be too positive for the sake of being positive. So I think this film definitely deserves 2 thumbs ups. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.